Recent reports have shed light on Honda's growing involvement with Aston Martin's driver lineup. Initially, it was believed that the decision about who drives where would be solely in the hands of Lawrence Stroll and his business partners. However, it seems Honda has realized the influence they now wield, especially with the new regulations on the horizon. This shift in their approach suggests that the Japanese manufacturer intends to have a significant say in the driver selection process, despite the final decision resting with Aston Martin's leadership. With this new dynamic at play, one has to wonder whether we might witness a scenario where multiple-time world champions are teammates at Aston Martin starting in 2026. The speculation surrounding this possibility has only intensified with the current situation at Aston Martin. Lance Stroll, despite being under heavy scrutiny for his performances in recent seasons, continues to be part of the team. His father, Lawrence Stroll, has shown no indication that he is ready to accept that his son may not have what it takes to be an F1 champion. The belief that Lance can still achieve greatness in F1 remains strong, even if his recent form has not supported that view. As Aston Martin begins to prepare for the 2026 regulations, the team is working closely with Adrian Newey, whose expertise has already proven invaluable. Now, Honda has entered the conversation, and with their added influence, the team's driver decisions for the upcoming seasons may be more complicated than ever. According to Koji Watanabe, president of Honda, there will be no significant change in how they operate with Aston Martin compared to their previous partnership with Red Bull. While Aston Martin has the final say on driver selection, Honda will continue to have a say in the process, just like they did with Red Bull. This level of involvement suggests that Honda will play a pivotal role in shaping the future of Aston Martin's lineup. However, this leads to an intriguing question. Could Max Verstappen, currently at Red Bull, find himself in a situation where he's tempted to leave for a new challenge with Aston Martin? With the new regulations potentially causing some instability at Red Bull, Verstappen might be open to exploring other options. The possibility of Verstappen and his former teammate, Pierre Gasly, joining forces again at Aston Martin under the guidance of Honda seems to be on the horizon, especially if Red Bull struggles to maintain its dominant position in the future. The focus is now shifting to how Max Verstappen might navigate this transition, especially if things at Red Bull begin to change. Despite all the success Verstappen has had with Honda, including winning multiple championships, the relationship could evolve with the changing landscape of F1. Should the dynamics at Red Bull shift under the new regulations, Verstappen may find himself considering a future with one of their competitors. Honda's involvement with Aston Martin could make the team an appealing option, especially with their strong technical partnership and the possibility of creating a competitive car. Verstappen has made no secret of his respect for Honda and their work together in the past. The mutual admiration between the driver and the manufacturer has been a key factor in their success. Honda's engineers have always praised Verstappen for his clear communication, which has fostered a strong relationship between the two. As the 2026 season approaches, this connection could make a return to Honda-powered Aston Martin an attractive proposition for Verstappen. Yet, the decision would not be simple. While the potential for a partnership with Honda and Newey could be enticing, Verstappen would also need to weigh the future prospects of Aston Martin. If the team shows significant improvement, then it could become a serious contender for championships, making it a potentially lucrative move. But, with all things considered, this scenario hinges on many factors, including how well Aston Martin adapts to the new regulations. In the midst of all this speculation, the current state of Aston Martin's driver lineup remains uncertain. Many are wondering if Lance Stroll, who is still under heavy scrutiny for his recent performances, will continue to hold his seat at Aston Martin. Despite his struggles, his father, Lawrence Stroll, remains steadfast in his belief that Lance is capable of achieving success in F1. However, the team's potential future success may depend on a stronger, more consistent performance from their drivers, and many are beginning to question if Lance Stroll is the right fit for the team's long-term goals. For Aston Martin, the hope is that the development of the car and its performance improvements in the coming seasons will help Lance perform at a higher level. But even if the car gets better, the team needs more than just incremental progress. They need a driver capable of competing at the top. The pressure is mounting on Lawrence Stroll to make the right decisions to ensure that his investment in the team will eventually pay off. The question remains: if Aston Martin is to achieve its championship ambitions, will it be with Lance behind the wheel? Given all the factors at play, it's likely that the team will eventually seek a change. A potential replacement could come in the form of someone like Max Verstappen, whose talents could complement the team's goals. But this would all depend on whether Honda and the team are able to convince him that Aston Martin is the right environment for him to continue adding to his legacy. The possibility of Max Verstappen joining Aston Martin is a topic that continues to gain traction, especially now that Honda is playing a more significant role in the team's future. But with the way things stand, it's unclear who exactly would be replaced to make room for the Dutch driver. Fernando Alonso, who is currently driving for Aston Martin, is expected to depart after the 2026 season. But there's also a possibility that his time with the team could be extended depending on how the next few years unfold. The addition of Honda's expertise in engine performance could be the catalyst that finally propels Aston Martin to the top. But as we've seen before, the competitive landscape in F1 can shift rapidly. The big question is whether Verstappen, whose relationship with Honda has been integral to his championship wins, would consider leaving Red Bull to join a team that is still in its development phase. If Red Bull begins to falter, especially under the new regulations, Verstappen may find that Aston Martin, with its newfound alliance with Honda, offers the stability and support he needs to continue his career at the top. In the world of F1, decisions are often made based on more than just technical performance. Reputation, trust in the team's management, and a driver's potential for success all play significant roles. Verstappen may be tempted by the challenge of building something new with Aston Martin, especially if the team is able to attract a competitive technical partnership. For Honda, the chance to reunite with their most successful driver is an opportunity they will likely pursue with everything they have. As we look ahead to the 2026 F1 season, all eyes are on Aston Martin and its potential to be a genuine championship contender. With Honda's involvement, the team now has the technical support and resources to build a competitive car capable of challenging for titles. The question of whether Max Verstappen will join the team and who will replace Lance Stroll remains a major talking point. Verstappen's connection with Honda could make this a very attractive proposition for him, especially if Red Bull begins to lose its edge under the new regulations. The Stroll family's vision for Aston Martin is clear. They want to see the team at the top. But whether Lance is the driver to take them there remains to be seen. The pressure is mounting for Lawrence Stroll to make the right choices and ensure his massive investment in the team pays off. With the introduction of Honda's power units and the 2026 regulations, Aston Martin might just have the tools they need to take that next step. But as we all know in F1, nothing is certain, and surprises are always around the corner. Will Aston Martin rise to the occasion and challenge for the championship? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure: the 2026 season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory.